Okay, this is Basis News. A quick shout out on the 24th of January. Now, what's happened today that hit the newspapers in the UK is that there's a huge attack on the motorist and anybody travelling, even cyclists. What has to happen shortly is that cyclists, instead of using the safe part of the road, which is on the left-hand side in the UK, and the existing cycle lanes, which a lot of them don't use anyway, they now have to go directly in the middle of the road, in the middle of the traffic, so that they are directly blocking and in front of motor vehicle transport, which obviously then has to practically stop while they go to do their normal business of riding a cyclist. Now, riding a bicycle. Now, even in areas where there are cycle lanes, it's still dangerous enough for cyclists to use the road system as it is. So now placing them in the middle, right in front of vehicular transport. So if they've got any problem at all, they're going to be right in the way of any kind of an accident. Secondly, they've now increased the distance from 1 meter to 1.5 meters that you have to, if you're going to go past a cyclist, you have to go 1.5 meters, which means that it will be impossible to overtake a cyclist on any normal road, which means that if you've got one cyclist, all the cars have to tail at that, behind that cyclist for the entire distance that the cyclist is using the road. Also, what's happening is that in order for you to open the door, and you can be fined huge sums now for inappropriately opening your car door. Now, in the highway code, you've now got to somehow use your left hand through an open window to open the door from the outside to leave your vehicle. You then have to put the window back up and then take the car keys out, because a lot of cars you'll have to use the electric windows. And by the time you do that, you're standing in the middle of the road, blocking other traffic if you're opening the door into traffic, instead of simply getting out, using your right hand on the buttons inside and leaving the vehicle. This kind of stuff is obviously so absolutely crazy. It should be clear to anybody now that this an awful lot of legislation is going, a lot of litigation is going through in the last few days in various countries over the whole crisis, the so-called pandemic stuff, that people don't understand or know what they've been telling us. Human resources, human rights versus cyborg and robot rights and law. So you've got laws for robots, which are corporate property, and since you've had the injection, you will be corporate property as well. And as for the humans, you are irrelevant. So which part of an invasion, which part of a successful full-scale attack on the global population do you not understand? Which part of a full-scale biological warfare delivery system do you not understand? Globally, we've got defense health experts now saying, oh, well, now that we've injected a lot of our troops, they're now coming up with this disease and that disease. They're all complaining about it. It's too late. The injections have happened. The weapon system has been delivered, and it will then make it, will process through the biological processes within all those people who've had this injection all over the world. I understand from Australia, there are a lot of people getting the hell out of the country if they can, back to the UK, where things are in disarray. And having said that, there was a magnificent protest and magnificent march. The nurses courageously threw their uniforms down on the street, I believe at Downing Street. There was a huge protest outside the BBC. I wasn't there. But that is what happened at the weekend. And then on Monday, we wake up in the newspapers with all these laws in the emission control zones in the north of England, near Manchester, that whole area will make it practically impossible for vehicles or trucks to deliver or even drive, or with continuous massive penalties, daily penalties and charges, shoving inflation and things up. And this is all to do with the climate problem, which has been sold to us as a CO2 issue, which it is not. It is a magnetic field issue. It is a normal planetary and solar system cycle where the sun meanders slightly closer to us by about 3 million miles. That puts the temperature up by 3 degrees over a 2,400 year cycle, and then it drops again. During this immediate 22 years, the temperature will go up by only 1 degree as part of that cycle, because the net temperature loss will be 2 degrees on top of the 3 degrees. So 3 minus 2 equals 1. However, and we don't know, after we come out of this Maunder minimum in 20 odd years' time, whether the net cycle will continue to decline, could head us straight into an ice age. Either way, the climate paranoia will be used to sanction these terrible sanctions on top of people. Inflation is going through the roof. And people still don't get it. We have just gone through and are still going through a massive biological warfare weapon which has been delivered. And now they're attacking any means we can do to actually go about our jobs or move about, particularly in rural areas where they basically want to wipe out the rural communities, take all the farms off the farmers, have no meat at all. So all animal life will be destroyed, and you'll be eating a highly dangerous soya manufactured product, which will defeminize women and demasculinize men and make you essentially into a utilitarian non-being. And that's probably violated 101 codes already. That's what's happening. Full-scale attack successfully delivered. Despite all the surveillance satellites and despite all the agencies which are out there to so-called protect us, they have all allowed this to be delivered to their own staff. That's it for now.